Welcome back, everybody, to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. If this is your first time, hit that subscribe button, hang out with us. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Again, hit that rate and subscribe button, a thumbs up, a comment always helps. Share the show. These shows are fun, especially if you like comic books. And of course, don't forget to visit omniversecomics.guide for all of our reading lists, reading orders, podcasts, or interviews with creators, collector item specials. It's all there. Dave's comic book reading order lists are second to none. Check
Stop.
it out. Check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If there's a comic book event that you want to look into and see what am I missing, what are the in-between stories, the fill-ins, the stuff to skip, this is the site. This is your go-to site. And our recommendations are pretty damn good, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. We might be slightly
Especially,
biased.
especially when yours truly is recommending hidden gems, because if anyone knows what a hidden gem is, guy right here.
I'm expecting 5 Superman comics tonight. Warning. Foreshadowing alert. Warning.
Well, I almost did that, but whatever. I was gonna do a theme, but I said, don't do a theme. It's okay. There might be a Superman comic in there.
Really?
Does it not count because it's
Yeah,
Superman?
it counts. If it's a
Whatever.
hidden gem, it counts. You're all
It's a
good.
hidden gem. All right. And I have one alternative.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't think we'll cross over, man.
I don't think so either.
No.
It's just one that I've been waiting to use for a specific reason, but I've used it in previous episodes, so I kind of like I'm not going to mention it again, and
All right.
I'll use it somewhere else down the line. But there's a specific reason why I wanted to use this one. Anyways, I'm going to start with one of our favorite creators. This is The Bridge from Peter Tomasi.
Ooh.
Now, this was his biographical story of how the Brooklyn Bridge was built. It's a story of the Roebling family.
Uh-huh.
The illustrator for it is Sarah Duvall. Shout out to Sarah Duvall because this is a really great graphic novel. When he came to Toronto and I got to chat with him for a bit and get him to sign a few things, I picked up this book from him. It's one of those books where the creator cares about it. It was important to them to tell this story because it's something he didn't do with DC or any big publisher. It was something that was like a labor of love. And you could really tell that he's a student and fan of history. I watched a documentary one time. I think I was on vacation somewhere and it was just like on one of those documentary channels, maybe National Geographic or something, where they were telling the story of how the Brooklyn Bridge was built, like kind of dramatizing it a little bit.
Right.
And I realized just like, wow, what a different, not so long ago, people were really built different. The risks that they took to get this project done, the lives that were lost to get this done, and the consequences of the people who worked so low down under, like into the sea levels where, I mean, the number of illnesses that even the engineer, Washington Roebling was his name. He just kept going at it to the point where he was bedridden from his illness. Now, it's kind of a spoiler in the story, but it is history. Like, you can look this up on Wikipedia. But this is an illustrated accounting of how the Brooklyn Bridge was built. It's incredible. It's got good character work. Check this out. You could pick it up online. The Bridge by Peter Tomasi.
Okay. My first choice for tonight is
Okay.
this little hidden gem. It's from Image Comics. It's called Slots, not Lots. Look, Lots, Slots, Slots. See what I did? It's by Dan Panosian. He is also known as Urban Barbarian on Instagram. I think he started drawing comics in the 90s, if I'm right. I can't remember what titles he did then, but there is a vast difference between his art back then and his art now. And I will literally pick up anything he is drawing because I love his style. It's really gritty. Let me read the blurb to you. You can say this about the life of Stanley Dance. He did it his way. Unfortunately, his way never took getting old into account. Now the former boxer is on his last legs looking for redemption, but he'll settle for going down swinging. Roll the dice with superstar artist Dan Panosian as he creates a bold and breathtaking vision of Las Vegas where everything old can become new and superstition influences how the chips fall. So it's a crime comic, 6 issues. Originally came out in 2017 in single issue format. I did find a little review that some reviewer posted on Instagram, And they said, Damp and Ocean kept me turning those pages with subtle twists and nasty but oddly likeable characters. It's almost a shame this is a one-off. I was growing attached to these guys. Damp and Ocean's art has a lovable grit to it, and his years in comics have turned him into a master storyteller with images alone. I need to find more of his modern stuff. It's too good to pass up. That was by someone called Dave.Omniverse, who gave it 4 stars.
I think I met that guy before.
Really?
He
I
used to,
heard he's a
yeah.
knob.
I had that guy on the Cave of Solitude
Oh, did
podcast
you?
a
What's he
couple
like
times.
in real
Yeah,
life?
he's a bellend.
I nearly spat out my coffee.
I know. I was like, should I do it now or?
That's payback for all the times I nearly made you spit your drink.
It's really bothering me, Dan Panosian, because I know his work from somewhere, and as soon as someone says it in the chat, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, because I'm pretty sure I'm a fan of something he worked on extensively. Yes.
Omega Bread says sold. I love diving into a meaty slot. So I think we've already got some people who are keen to dip their fingers in. So that's Slots from Image Comics by Damp and Ocean. It's a nasty little beaut.
All right. My next hidden gem is also from one of my favorite writers. Guess who it might be, guys? Yes, it is J.M. DeMatteis.
Oh, it's going to
It
say
is
Peter
Brooklyn.
Tomasi.
It's Brooklyn Dreams. This is essentially his biography, autobiography, but loosely based by changing the character names and things like that. And it almost feels like a fever dream in a way, because you start reading it and it's an older version of himself, like the narrator. You kind of see him there in the corner, and he's telling you a story about where it all begins, how he figured this thing out. And you feel like he's about to tell a story, but the charm of this thing is that he's telling his story in a way that is putting off what he initially was going to tell you. He's like, I'm gonna get to that thing. Don't
Oh,
worry. Like, yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna get to that, but I have to tell you this in order to get to that original thing. So you feel like you're being brought along. It's like, what is this story you want to tell? We're halfway through the book and we haven't gotten to the plot yet. And then when it all comes together, you're like, wow, what a great biography. Have After you read this, I think you'll really understand the writer. This is one of those times where the writer is telling kind of his story. And you don't know what's true or what's not true. And when we spoke about it, he said it was one of those things where it was true, but it wasn't the facts, if that makes sense.
okay.
Meaning, like, it was sometime at this year in the summer, but was it June 23rd or was it May
Right.
1st? Like, those
Embellished for
facts
the
aren't
sake
there.
of story,
Right. But it was
like any
true.
true story.
Right.
All right, my second dude. Do you fancy a bang?
Yes.
Cool,
Always.
because I've got one right here. This.
Bangs and slots. You're
Oh
a dirty,
yeah.
dirty guy.
Oh, I've clearly got a theme tonight. So this is
See?
Bang by Matt Kint. The art's by Wilfredo Torres. It collects Bang number 1 to 5 from the year 2020 from Dark Horse Comics. And it is a twisty little mystery. And what they've done is that each issue focuses on either an action hero or detective, like a notable character. And the first issue focuses on a James Bond archetype. And it plays with the whole idea of James Bond being this bizarre kind of time paradox almost, like where he clearly took part in those missions in the 60s and remembers them, but he's also existing in the now. I think this came out around the time they were considering
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Yeah, can't stand him.
Really?
Really don't like him. Can't watch him at all. Don't like
Why?
him. He just
Why?
annoys me. He's just too up his own arse, and I can't stand him. But there was talk about him becoming James Bond at one point, and there was all sorts of uproar,
Right.
like how would that work? Because is James Bond the character, or is James Bond a name that's given to various different people? So in this, they kind of play with that idea, and then by issue 2, you're dealing with a different character who's based on John McClane from Die Hard, but he's kind of got some power-based elements to him, and they kind of keep going through this thing and combining all these different characters. There's a spotlight on each character, but it all overlaps, and there's a bigger mystery involved. And I can't say too much more about it because it will spoil it, and I don't want to do that. I mean, some reviewer on Instagram wrote, James Bond, Die Hard, Murder, She Wrote, Poirot, Knight Rider, and a whole lot more all rolled into one. Bang is a mystery with an actual payoff, and it's an absolute pleasure to read from start to finish. 4 stars. I'm just gonna credit the writer of. It was Dave.Omniverse who wrote that review.
He's a
Isn't he though?
yes.
It's an at.
Yeah. I like it.
He's a.
We say
Why? So much better. It's harsher.
no. I like.
So do I. Anyway. This little hidden gem is another Matt Kint beauty. I think it's one of the first Matt Kint stories I read, and it really sold me on him as a writer. So, well worth picking up. And Wilfredo Torres is gradually making his name known more and more in the comic industry, and his stuff is great. Beautifully told, very well paced, very exciting, smart little twist, and a nice play on multiple genres all rolled into one without being a complete mess in just 5 issues.
Nice.
Bang.
Here we go. Now we're gonna see my next pick. It happens to be an Eisner Award winner, so I guess that doesn't make it a hidden gem. It is Invisible Kingdom.
Ah.
But it's got 2 really great creators. G. Willow Wilson of Miss Marvel fame and Christian Ward. And let me tell you, Christian Ward's art is phenomenal.
Always
This
is.
it's a sci-fi epic fantasy. It blends the idea of religious reformation, somewhat of a cult, mixed in with an analog for a major goods and services provider that we all often order things from and are somewhat pacified by the fact that we could just shop from our phones and things get delivered to us immediately in this day and age. The premise of the book is that a delivery person on a cosmic level, right? They come across this deception that's taking place between the so-called religion, that is the anti-lux, is what the company is called in the book. They're supposed to be at odds, but really they're in bed with each other. And this conspiracy gets exposed. So it's this tale of them running away through space, trying to find means of survival, trying to rescue people along the way. There's a love story involved. There is commentary on, modern society, religion, all these different things. It's very interesting. It's very fun. It's a great page turner, but this library deluxe edition is a great option to read it. All 15 issues are collected. Christian Ward's art, there are moments where they're traveling through space at breakneck speed, or they're on like these different scenescapes that you are a part of in the book. Like his painted stuff is just beautiful, and it's very evocative. Like it makes you feel emotional as you read it. It's really good book. Hopefully it lives up to the hype I'm giving it.
I'm sure
4
it will
stars.
with that combo. 4 stars.
Dave from the Omniverse said.
Dave from the Omniverse hasn't read it. Lazy bastard. This week we're going to take a look at our most popular podcast and video episodes. Top 5. At number 5, it's your interview with Jim Shooter again.
Nice.
But at number 4, it's your interview with Ron Friends.
Ooh.
And at number 3, the top 10 80 Spider-Man stories. At number 2, Most Wanted DC Omnis and Compendiums 2025 edition. And at number 1, incoming for June 2025.
Your turn?
My turn. Oh, so I will confess before we carry on, I haven't really looked at how much any of these books are going for, because I kind of figure they're going to go for different prices in different countries, availability is different, how willing you are to shell out for something if you really want it is potentially going to be different to the individual. So I've stopped worrying about that. I think we had someone one day that said, you guys recommended something that's like really, really overpriced now. It wasn't for me. I got it just fine. Sometimes you've got to persist.
Yeah, and I try my best to, some of the selections I make, I try to make sure that it's available instead of being like, this is great, you can't get it. Like
that's very kind of
fun.
You. I think it's fun.
I try.
Because sometimes the fun is in the hunt.
That's true too, but again, depending on the subject, right? Because if it's like, this is a hidden gem, you'll never find it. But if it's available,
or
like,
it's
hey,
a hidden gem, but it's available in all shop windows right now.
Shut up.
Can't win.
Whatever.
Whatever. All right. My number three, this very eve, is the not double entendre laden title Battling Boy. This is from First Second. It's by Paul Pope. I love this. I love it. It's great. And it's so simple. It's about a champion who basically comes to Earth. Well, he comes to a place called Arcopolis. The place is just filled with monsters, and the children have to get off the streets. So that's when the monsters come out. The guy who used to save them all is Haggard West. He was kind of their superhero. But Haggard West is no more. So instead, we get Battling Boy. If I remember rightly, with each T-shirt he puts on, he's got a different power.
Well, that's cool.
But this is by Paul
That's cool.
Pope, and I remember when I
I
first saw
wish that
his
was a
art.
power.
Great,
That's
wouldn't
a
it?
great power.
I'd be able to fly like Lao Che air freight from Indiana Jones if that worked for me right now. You'd be.
That's a great T-shirt.
Oh,
I'd
thank you.
I'd be I'd be Joe Hendry. Yes, everyone would believe in me.
Yeah, I'm a scummy guy that is going to drop my hero off into the middle of nowhere. So no one believes in me. Paul Pope has actually just, funnily enough, recently announced that he's going to do a follow up because it ends. This storyline ends, but there's loose stuff dangling, and you don't want loose stuff dangling, do you? There's all sorts
Never.
of mysteries still to look into. There have also been a couple of follow up books, and they are by Paul Pope and David Rubin and JT Petty, who are the House of West and the Rise of Aurora West. They tie into it. I don't know if they take place before or after.
That's
They're
cool.
black and white, kind of manga sized. But I
That's fun.
thought to get these, and I still haven't read them yet. It's one of those things you go, I gotta get them, and then you get them, and you go, like, I'll just put them on the shelf here.
I can't wait to read them in 10 years.
Typical. So, but this one I read again recently for a different episode, and thought, no, I'm gonna save it up. It's a great book. It's a lot of fun, and I'm so hyped to know that there's going to be a follow up. And I don't know if that will wrap it up or if he's going to do any more.
Nice.
Battling Boy. Oh, hang
Nice.
on a moment. What's that? Oh, apparently some reviewer on Instagram said, I'm not going to tell you why you should own ridiculously inventive and surreal Battling Boy. You need to tell me why you don't already. I never used to like Paul Pope stuff, but I realise now how utterly stupid I've been. If you like Hellboy, there's a pretty good chance you'll also like this. And that's by Dave.Omniverse. 4 stars.
That guy's bollocks. Okay, my number four. This is also an Eisner Award winning book for Best Miniseries from 2018. If anyone
Oh.
can guess it, then it's not a hidden gem. Whatever. I'm waiting for people to in the comments, and I'm like, whatever. It is Little Bird from Image Comics.
Oh, brilliant.
Have you read this?
No, but it's another book that's been on my list to get for ages, and I heard really good things, and then it's kind of vanished into obscurity again. Because like when something's just a one-off, this is
Yeah,
what makes something a hidden gem at times. Even if it's
hidden
really
gem.
popular, it
There you
starts to
go.
people forget.
Yeah, yeah. So I forgot about it because I bought this. So it's Darcy Van Polgeest and Ian Bertram with Matt Hollingsworth on the colors. I bought this because some some of the local artist friends here actually got to do issue 4 and 5 covers for this, which was a big get for them. So we were all like, "Hey, they did covers for that
Oh,
book, and look how nice the hardcover came out." And it had, critical acclaim and good things said about it. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll buy a copy of this from you guys for sure." I've read it twice. I'll read the description. The fight for Elder's hope. Little Bird was born into war, and it's the only life she's known. When her village is destroyed and her mother kidnapped by the oppressive American Empire, she fights to reignite the resistance that once was and defeat the enemy, to save her country, to save her people, to discover her own identity in a world on fire. Little Bird is the critically acclaimed sci-fi epic from award-winning filmmaker Darcy Van Polgeest. That's so the artwork in it kind of it's not the same, but in the way that things are paced and the way the story is told, it's kind of the way Headlopper would be or Bird King would be. Not that the artwork is the same artwork, but in that there's a style to it and it suits the story correctly. And it's a very serious story. It's violent. It's got, again, religious overtones, heavily religious overtones, because it's essentially like a dystopian future where an extreme version of Catholicism has taken over, but it's run like a totalitarian government.
Right.
And these are the freedom fighters. So
Huh.
it's gotten some mixed reviews, but it's definitely a stylized version of storytelling that I think is best suited for comic books. To try to adapt this, I don't think would do it justice. It wouldn't, I'm sure the creators would be happy with that, but I don't know if it would do the artwork of this book justice
Right.
with
You
the
never
story
know
that it
the
is.
way that they are adapting some things lately, but yeah. Sometimes the
Which aren't
artwork is the style is the sell. It's like why I never really liked the Hellboy films because it's not. It doesn't look
right.
like Mignola. Mignola.
Just the
Oh,
style of the artwork there.
that looks great.
It's great. It's great stuff. Yeah, no. You can see what I mean by it's got a very specific stylized
Yeah.
aspect about it and it works for this story just great. Check it out. They have it in soft cover back out again available. So if you want to get your hands on it, you can. This is the hardcover that I got at the con,
Hmm.
but it is still in shelves in stock.
BC Scrub said it feels a bit like Frank Quitely, and I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I
a
don't
little
know
bit.
if it looks that way when it's up close and personal, but I thought it
Moments
looked
it
a bit.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, moments it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a mix between Quitely and
Yes,
Farrell Dalrymple.
Darwimple. Yes, yes, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Good pick. Those are good picks.
My number 4 tonight is Monkey Man and O'Brien from Dark Horse Comics. Now, this is partly why I was excusing myself earlier as to me not checking. I did manage to find myself a copy of this after waiting a long time for it to be something affordable. This is by Arthur Adams. Of course, I'll get anything Arthur Adams has done. It collects the 1996 three-issue miniseries Monkey Man and O'Brien. Also collects the one-off special, same year. And the special kind of introduces the characters, and I think it's made up of the stories that were originally a backup feature in Hellboy: Seed of Destruction. So that series originally had two features in it, which the main Hellboy story, the first Hellboy story, and Monkey Man and O'Brien. And then that was collected in special and coloured in, and then we got this with the mini. So it introduces the characters. It's quite referential. There's clearly a lot of affection for 1960s Marvel stories. Issue 1 feels like it's based very, very heavily on Fantastic Four #1, because like the villain is the Shroomonoid, who is very, a lot like the Mole Man. Issue 2 is like Incredible Hulk issue 2, where he fought the Toad Men, and these guys fight the Froglodites, Invasion of the Froglodites. Very similar. They come from space. The cover even looks like Incredible Hulk #2. It's just Arthur Adams having fun with his own creator-owned series. There are references to John Byrne's Dark Horse series at the time called Danger Unlimited. So it seemed that there were a bunch of titles that sort of interlinked. There was Byrne's Danger Unlimited. Another series is called Babe. This Hellboy appears in those books as well at one point. You can see our Hellboy reading order for where they would fit in, but they don't count as continuity anymore. But yeah, it was a weird thing. It's what they were doing. It felt like they were building a universe, and then they kind of sort of didn't. But yeah, it was part of Dark Horse's Legends line, which also had books like Sin City under it as well, which clearly were nothing to do with this kind of nonsense. But yeah, it's fun, rompy sci-fi madness. Is it the greatest story ever told? No. Did I have fun reading it? Yeah, of course I did. It's Arthur Adams, man. So I
That's
think
a hidden gem.
it's a hidden gem. No one reviewed this on Instagram, so yeah.
But we reviewed
But
it here.
4 star, I'll give it 3.5.
3.5. Nice. All right, my number 5. This might not be considered a hidden gem. This might be the one where they call me out on it, but I don't care because I gotta represent for Superman this year. This is the year of Superman. So my hidden gem number 5 is Christopher Priest's Superman Lost. I read it last year. I was possibly going to put it on my top 10 list of the year. Didn't quite make the cut. I'll read a little description of it. A routine Justice League mission goes awry. Superman must make a 20-year journey home, but he feels like a stranger when he returns to a world where no time has passed at all. So it starts off as your traditional Justice League romp. He gets the call. Everybody comes back. He's missing for a few minutes, and then he shows up again. And everything seems like it's back to normal, but he's been gone for 20 years, and he's been taking 20 years to find a way to get himself back home. That's a life. A whole life has been lived away from everybody, including Lois, right? This is a version where they're married. He comes back and there's clearly a distance between them. She can't figure out why, because in her mind it's just, but you just went with the Justice League, you came back. He doesn't trust anybody. So it's this coming back into the regular world of what everyone else has just been a couple minutes. And also at the same time, Christopher Priest is, it's a non-linear story. So you're seeing what he went through in those other issues while he's been away. Now, the criticism that this has received is that the ending is one of those like Deus Ex Machina, as they say. Like some people think it's brilliant, other people think it's like a way out.
Okay.
If that makes sense, we're like, you cheated, and other people are like, brilliant, so good. Kind of like the difference between Christopher Nolan fans and non-fans. Like some people think that's a great idea, while other people are just like, I'm confused, or that's kind of a way out that you know. But anyways, check it out. The artist on the book is. Can you help me say the name, Dave?
No.
Please. I'm
Why?
having a tough time.
Isn't it Carlo
Carl.
Pagulian?
Yes.
Is that how
Good
you
job.
pronounce it? Oh, thank you.
I don't know, but
I
you're the one who got to say it.
Well, the reason I remember it is because it was when listed on quite a few of the best series of last year on certain lists. So another hidden gem there from Eric.
Have any of you read it in the chat rooms? Has anybody read? Has anyone heard about it?
I haven't seen the last Star Wars film, but it doesn't mean it's it's a
I don't
hidden gem.
remember this book being on the best list of the year myself, but whatever. I don't think when you go into a comic book shop, this book is going to be prominently displayed.
Maybe not. And most people go super who. So do you want my number 5?
Yes.
Oh, Omega Bread owns it, but he's not got round to reading it. So it must be hidden somewhere in his house. Therefore, hidden
I
gem.
I could get another hidden gem, and you know what?
No, it's
No problem.
tradition. It's tradition now for you to next year. I think you need to talk about Image's Walking Dead.
Jerks. It's a hidden gem. Go ahead.
Sure. My number 5 is probably the most mainstream choice on my list. Anyway, not as much as Eric's, but it's a pretty mainstream choice.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
All right,
I
so
picked two Eisner Award winners, and everyone's like, "Well, I haven't heard of that. I
no one
forgot
reads
about
the
that
Eisner
one."
Award winners.
Yeah,
They go, "Did you hear
whatever.
what won?" And you go, "No," and they go, "It was this," and you go, "All right," and you don't read it until like
All right.
10 years later when it's sat on your shelf.
Go ahead, Dave. Go
Okay,
ahead.
my final hidden gem for tonight is Death's Head. Now, this is a real personal favourite for me. I love this character. I love this character so much. And even though he's appeared in quite a few Marvel titles recently with little one-off appearances, no one is getting him right. And there are probably a lot of people going, why does anyone like this guy? It's because they haven't done him right. This is where you do him right. Also, when Marvel Man loves Death's Head, yes!
Nice.
But he's heard of him. That means it's not a hidden gem. So I'm going to stop talking. No, just kidding. Death's Head first appeared, despite some alternative opinions, that he first appeared in an advert called High Noon Tex in some of Marvel UK titles in the late 80s. He actually appeared in Transformers. It was the first storyline to take place after Transformers the movie. Rodimus Prime puts a price on Galvatron's head, and Death's Head decides to take him up on it, and there's a time travel thing and everything. They're going to collect those Transformers stories from Marvel UK that include Death's Head. So I believe in the Marvel UK compendiums from Image. They're so much fun, man. And I love Death's Head, yes. This is his solo series. Now, it's missing a couple of stories. It's missing issue
8.
because Doctor Who was in it. And it's missing the stories before. There's a story set before all of these, which was an issue of Doctor Who, where Death's Head met him in the time stream. after being cast out of the planet Junkion by the head of Unicron, and he bumps into Doctor Who on his way through time and space. He gets shrunk down to a normal human size instead of giant size, because he used to be the same size as a Transformer. That's how he ends up becoming part of the Marvel Universe, thanks to Doctor Who, because Doctor Who was a Marvel title in the UK back then.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so it's weird, fun stuff. The main series is by Simon Furman and artist Brian Hitch. Very early days of Brian Hitch's career. You also get an issue drawn by Liam Sharp. On top of that, the Marvel graphic novel Death's Head, The Body in Question is also collected in this trade paperback. As soon as this came out, I was made up. I wish they'd managed to work out a way to include Doctor Who. So the trade paperback is called Death's Head, Freelance Peacekeeping Agent, because he's a bounty hunter, but he doesn't like being called that. The original issues came out between 1988 and, for the most part, up to like 1990. It does include an issue of Fantastic Four, issue 338, which was written and drawn by Walt Simonson, who drew a cover of the main Death's Head series. In the final issue of Death's Head, he faces off against Iron Man 2020, as drawn by Brian Hitch, and it's my favourite issue of the series. A lot of it's set in the future, the year 8162. And it's him finding his place in a time he doesn't belong. And he's just like, first thing he does when he gets there is go, right, now I've got to look for contracts to go out and kill or hunt people. He's a shameless money grabber and a real dick. But I love the guy. But they did.
I could see how much you love him. You're just holding it. You're holding it to your face like a puppy.
I was so happy when I saw this.
Shall I redeem myself with my fifth pick with a hidden gem?
What, like a bonus pick?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll get you my pick. I'll even show you guys.
All right.
Talk to the people, Dave. Talk to the people.
Shall we say that it was, we've all heard of it. No matter what it is, we've all definitely heard of it and we've all read it. Yeah. Okay.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, I get really excited when Death's Head 2 shows up as well, but I know a lot of people are really weird about Death's Head 2 because of what he did to Death's Head in issue 1. But yeah, I'll take them both. But my favourite is Death's Head. Hello.
Let me make sure that I'm not gonna. So my pick from a long time ago was going to be this wonderful Marvel omnibus from Black Cat. I've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think that one. Has anyone else read this? When did it come out? Was it last year?
No, this didn't come out last. This omnibus?
Yeah.
I think it came out, but here's why you can all go shit in your shoes. Because right on the cover it says Black Cat is an absolute hidden gem.
Oh.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Let's see what it says in the
cover
comics.
Is marketed as a hidden gem.
Well, that's Marvel talking. Meat Trunk said he's read it. Omega Bread says, hidden gem, you're taking the piss, Eric. Everyone's read that, mate.
Here we go. On the cover, it says, absolute. You guys are not going to say I'm wrong this time. It's marketed as a hidden gem. Screw you guys. Always calling me out.
What?
Anyways, thank you, everybody, for
no one
joining
in
us for
marketing
another...
ever lies.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us again and taking in our hidden gems. I think they were all very, very beautiful hidden gems. Yeah, whatever. I love this episode just because I know I'm going to get called out on it.
Let's do one next week.
Oh, I have more. Let's see, Fantastic Four, John Byrne, that qualifies.
Batman Year One. I don't know if you've heard of it. Brilliant. Hidden gem.
Not that one. Dark Knight Returns.
Oh,
That's
I've not heard of that.
Gem. Anyways, you can catch all of our episodes on YouTube, so beautifully edited and prepared for us by Dave, or visit us at omniversecomics.guide for all of our content, reading orders, comic book interviews with creators, all of our episodes, our top 10 lists, you name it, it's there. Visit us at omniversecomics.guide and throw us a follow if you're watching on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're almost there.
Subscribe and then choose the alerts button so that you get notified when we launch a new episode.
That's a very good point. Thank you, Dave.
That's
Put a little bell there. Ding.
Ring my bell.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Dave, always a pleasure. See you
Likewise,
next
dude.
time, everyone.
All right.
All
Thanks a
right,
lot,
guys.
everybody. Cheers.